Right, we are live. What's up, chat? What's up, players? We have had a bit of a break. Been at least 4 weeks since we played last. So we're going to jump straight into it with session 11, aptly named the Old Bonegrinder, mainly because Blackwell's fault. Because you heard the name and got freaked out by it, so we'll call it that. So episode 11, the Old Bonegrinder. So last we left off, after a night of rest at the Blood on Vine and compliments of the 3 women, you got breakfast, such as it was, and coffee. Some discussion was had and decided that you would head west to the Durst Windmill, as you promised. Along the way, you see a duck devoured by a large reptilian creature on the black surface of the Svalich River. You, on closer inspection of the water, with the use of Ripple's ability to control water and Jurik's mage hand, and a near miss from the same large creature burst from the water, Sayura now narrowly escaped becoming reptile food. Continuing onwards, eventually finding yourselves back at the gypsy camp. Once again, you are offered food and drink, and also offered stories and rumours, and are told of the prince's long dead brother and a sword that he once wielded, and the mad mage of Baratok, and told of the township of Vallaki and Kresk. You're also told of another gypsy camp south of Vallaki. Declining to stay for the evening, you continue onward, reaching the waterfall named for the river and the camp, so the Sea Waterfalls. Jurik essentially deciding he wants to have a look behind this waterfall just in case. Like, he insists on checking it out, hidden caves and for potential attacking positions. Scales the rock deftly and finds no such hidden entrances. During the course of the evening, many conversations were had, but otherwise are relatively uneventful. Evening save the sound of singing through many portions of the night. Ripple shows her lighter side with a charcoal prank, and Sayura, attempting to do something similar, fails miserably and wakes Reed up. However, next morning you wake and break camp following the road, which is now turned northward. And after an hour or two, you find yourself standing in front of a huge stone structure, the headless statues of knights standing either side, large iron gates in its center. After some investigation and some discussions, Jarek discovers that it is old, very, very old. Ulvan with a detect magic determines it has arcane nature, and as a result of Reed getting close enough to the iron gates, they swing open, loudly screeching on their hinges and appearingly of their own accord. But as we've discovered, Ulvan with the detect magic, the gates themselves have an arcane element to them. A little bit of hesitation, but stepping through the gates, walking through the other side, the statues kneel before you as you enter, pass through, and on the other side the gates close again, loudly screeching on those rusted hinges, closing behind you. And as you turn more sort of northwestward now, looking down the valley, you can see in the distance the destination that you'll seek, the Old Windmill, perched upon a small outcrop hill, maybe a couple of 3 miles away. So with that being said, we will turn over to our group, our party. As you have stepped through the gates have swung closed loudly on their hinges and now stand silent. As you turn and look, the same statue standing on this side, however, somewhat more intact. The heads are in place instead of on the ground. It does look similar in age. It is overgrown in places and has vines, and you can see a massive bird's nest of some large bird has been atop one of the statue heads. But for all intents and purposes, it looks almost identical to the other side.
I wonder why they decided to have a windmill this far away from their village. Makes me think they actually came from this direction. Maybe moved to the village. I'd imagine it'd be doing good business this far away.
Maybe land is scarce in this place, and this is the only place they could get.
Protected behind a gate that is no longer usable.
Or
Does it
maybe the people around there caught them doing what they were doing in the basement, and they moved.
Yeah, still, a stretch feels like there's a story there to be told. I could spend a lot of time here, actually. There's a lot of history here.
I mean, if we had the deed, we could move in.
But isn't the house broken down?
And the
No.
windmill, we could
I mean,
set up.
that's true. I mean, well, if all the people who owned the windmill are dead, I mean, no one owns it now. Or somebody took it over.
What?
Well, there's only way to find out, I guess.
So we can see it in the distance.
In the
right?
distance, yeah. It looks like 2 or 3 miles from your current position. You can see, again, through the fog, like there's a light fog always, like that mist is always there, so it's very hazy, but you can see the 4 blades of a large windmill just on the precipice of a tiny sort of small hill down through the valley.
I'm not getting any anything from the bag of bones. No reactions or anything like that just yet.
Nothing yet.
All right. Well, we've got some kids to go and bury over here, and we're pretty close to finishing off this quest. I want to put them in the ground and get them some rest.
Look at the group and I go, Racia, can I take off?
I'm not going to race that.
As Derek takes off at pace, do the rest of you decide to race him or just casually follow down the hill?
Casually.
Like,
Ripple would run.
First roll of the
In a
night, Derek.
watermelon
Make a perception check for me, Derek, to see how long it takes you to notice before you realise you're the only one running. Not long. With a dirty 20 on the roll. But not long. You get about maybe 20 or 30 feet out in front of the group and realise you're the only one running. You don't hear the sound of your companions following, and you sort of slow and turn and look, and you can see them sort of just casually following you down the hill.
I
Go and you'll get there soon. There's more comfort in him being further away. Feeling. Relax.
I'll just yell back, I heard a story that you folk were fast.
You gonna take that?
Are you referring to Arcos?
I think he's referring to Arcos, yes.
Right.
I don't care.
I have my finger on my nose.
I wonder if I could create water and do like a water slide down the hill behind him.
For 5 feet, yeah.
That wouldn't get me very far.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, you'd have to keep casting it.
It's a 30-foot
Is it a
cube, so
cantrip?
no.
Yeah.
I pull up and stop and throw my hands up and go, really?
Lucky you don't care.
Only we've shown this urgency within the first 3 days of being here.
So, as you eventually Drake slows up and waits, and you rejoin each other, and you continue walking, following the snaking road. And it's not a straight shot to the windmill. The road itself does twist and turn, clears the trees after a while, and is more into open ground. But it's very hilly, so you can't see for sort of miles in each direction. You get a few hills and that in the way, but it's, again, misty, drizzly. But the windmill is ever present in behind the mist, and the bit of a shadow of it in the mist as you continue forward. Can I get everybody to make a perception check for me, please?
Oops, that's the wrong one. It's the same roll, regardless.
I mean, it's still a perception check.
Yeah.
So, natural 20 from Reed. 21 from Sarah. 18. We got a 5 from Orvana. 10 from Arcos. And a 21 from Ripple.
I'm just not paying attention. I'm just going to have the bag of bones in front of me.
So
and
you just
kind of like holding them really like tightly, make sure they're not rattling or anything like that.
So Orban, again, being preoccupied with the children's bones, really now getting close to this windmill, you feel more responsible for them. So are really starting to protect them. You're so close to that destination and laying them to rest. The rest of you, even Arcos, I would say, would probably, you wouldn't pick up on it immediately, but after a while, you probably would notice others sort of not stopping, but sort of picking up and taking notice of, again, this singing somewhere in the distance. And does anyone say anything? Reed, you're the first to pick up on it. Natural 20, you can hear it. And for you, it's reasonably clear. And it sounds like a nursery rhyme. It sounds like children somewhere nearby singing a nursery rhyme. And eventually, Jarek, you pick up on it. Sawyer, you definitely pick up on it as well. And I'd say, Sawyer, it's probably a nursery rhyme you're familiar with. It's a dark rhyme. It's telling of it's like a children's bedtime story. It's designed to frighten children, make them keep them good, make them behave themselves. But it got turned into a nursery rhyme, and it's something you've heard before because it's also used in ritualistic cursing as well.
I almost feel like Reed would start humming it, like trying to go along with it, like trying to think of it.
Yeah, I'd say so. You would immediately stop him.
Stop.
So, Sarah, this particular rhyme tells the story of a creature that can invade your dreams and make you do things in your sleep. And if you die in your dream, you die for real.
I'm fucking out of this campaign. See you. Bye. I don't want to deal with these kids' nightmares when they get.
It's in the old Elm Street rhyme. We do not talk about it.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Funny enough, it's not Freddy, but it's something very similar. Instead of essentially the same thing, but it's in an old language. It's not the singing. You can hear it. Sorry, you'd probably know the language as well.
Sorry.
It's in a Slavic dialect. It's a dialect you're familiar with, and it is very similar to the Nightmare on Elm Street song. Yes, I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. People sue me. It is very similar to that, but it's instead of the name Freddy, it's just the devil is the name that they use, or it's a Slavic name for the devil.
I will quickly tell them the tale, because I love to tell stories of spirits and horrors and ghosts, and I will quickly tell them the tale that this rhyme is about.
So
and tell them that it is not a
it's a fable. Yeah, it's a fable that you're not sure of its origins or how much truth is in this fable, but it is the story of a man who was well thought of in the land for many generations. His family is is from this area and has been for a long, long time. He was discovered to have been murdering children in the village of Kresk. He was arrested and sent to the stocks, and where he was, as everyone well knows, pelted with fruit and vegetables and things. And eventually he was set to be put to death, but somewhere along the line he managed to escape. They found his cell empty. The only thing left in his cell was his clothing and nothing else. The cell was empty, no signs of a struggle, no signs of blood, but the smell of sulfur hung thick in the air in that cell. And that cell, every time from that day forth that someone was placed in that cell, nasty things would happen. Like one story, a guard came in to find a man hanging from the ceiling of the cell through odd means. There was no way he could have hung himself. Another man they found was twisted and tied up in almost like a knot. His body was so broken and twisted, it was just unnatural. Many things like that, to the point where they stopped using that cell. And then legend has it that if you use this particular rhyme with intent, that your victim would die in the most horrible of ways.
Saying that it's not safe, but there is someone there. So singing that general tale is probably wise if we not just run in, you know?
And while you're discussing, the song is still present. Very quiet, sort of echoey.
Somebody wants us dead.
Reed, with your natural 20, you would be the only one that would be able to determine a rough direction that that the sound is coming from. And it's coming from the northeast, back towards the forest.
How do you know that story? That's interesting.
Lots of stories all over.
About this place.
But every place.
Every place.
You have to share some stories with me.
I don't have any stories quite like that one, but I feel like maybe we just leave it alone.
Well, Van, make a religion check for me, please.
But we do have to bury the children, so...
12, it's not bad. Now that the story's been told, you've also heard this fable through your teachings, through your learnings as a cleric. You've heard some of these old rituals and some of these old fables. It's very old. It's not a common one, which is probably why you've now twigged it. I remember hearing about that because it wasn't something that you often hear about in where you're from in Faerun. It's not a typical Faerunian tale. This story and fable comes from old history, like really, really old history.
Sounds like some misfortune that we can turn. Maybe. But I will go where you guys go. I'll help if they need help.
I mean, it's coming from back there, so...
Wasn't it to the side?
Yeah, I mean, it's not behind you, more to sort of, you're heading sort of northwestish.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, it's heading sort of, you're heading northwestish. This came from sort of the northeast. So it's kind of is behind you, but not really. Sort of, again, more heading north than back the way you came.
There are multiple places.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe 4 or 5 children, maybe 6 possibly. So on the map,
So it'd be
based
like
on where your token is, it's yeah, sort of coming
that way.
from up in this sort of area. This again, this map's not indicative to where there's no trees. There are trees sort of spotted everywhere. So you've just come from the gate, so it's more sort of that direction, more northward than behind you.
I'm just gonna make a mental note of pretty much where they're all saying it is.
Yeah, and now that it's been pointed out, you sort of all turn in sort of that direction and listen for a bit, and it definitely sounds like it's coming from that direction. And as you continue to listen, it starts to get a little quieter and a little more, almost like it might be more becoming more distant, and then it slowly stops and dissipates.
The area that we saw the hag running off with the kid, right?
No, that
Or
was
is
back
it-
in the
is it was
village.
east?
Yeah, she left the village from to the east, which is on the opposite side.
Didn't we hear this singing last night, though?
Roll a history check, anyone who wants to think back, because those that heard
I thought
the singing, and it was very quiet, you couldn't really determine what it was, but if you want to roll a history check to see what you
I
remember.
was distracted by a deer.
You
I don't know
were.
nothing.
So Zarik, Reed, oh sorry, you get advantage on history, don't you, Zarik?
No.
You've rolled it twice.
No.
Oh, no, it was Ripple, sorry.
that's only rolled once.
I saw the same dice twice. Someone must have similar dice. So Ripple with a 19, Zarik with a
We have good taste
19,
and dice.
and Reed with a 7. So yeah, Reed, you are not 100% sure that it's the same song you heard the night before. But Zarik and Ripple, yes, it is indeed the same tune that you heard the previous evening.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, Reed. I think it is the same tune.
Weird.
It's why would they be
We've
singing it for
traveled
so
a
long?
decent distance. They
What
like
did you
following us?
What did you say it was, Sayira? Just a song?
Nursery rhyme. Yeah.
With negative implications.
Like a ring around the rosy, you know? Like,
Oh, yeah,
pretty dark.
First nursery rhymes sung by eerie kids that seem to be following us. Let's just bury these children and we can go.
I like their thinking, Gavin.
Let's not stick our nose in places they don't belong, like that old lady from the village where Sayera pretty much was dead. Remember? Remember that?
Chasing! I was chasing him.
Unless these children know these other kids. Maybe they're friends and they'll know where to bury them.
I'll ask him.
In the ground usually is the best place, Orvan, I think.
They have to choose the right spot. They wanted a specific area. We can't just
No,
throw them wherever.
I mean, they didn't want it. Their dad wanted it.
They wanted
Well,
it.
Find somewhere nice by the windmill. We're not going to ask creepy singing children where to bury these bones we've been carrying around with us.
They sound more crazy every moment.
I'm also gonna just like while you guys are talking.
So,
Put my holy
yeah, no, you carry on. No, you carry on.
I was just gonna talk to my holy symbol and
Yeah.
to say, mistress, there's some more misfortune for you. Maybe we can look into that.
I would say as you clutch your holy symbol, and you get a a warming feeling in your hand as you hold it and speak. Are you speaking out? You're not speaking this out loud, are you? Just no. So you definitely get the impression you've been heard, and there could be some more interesting things coming soon. So it's an interesting feeling you get. It's the first time you've had a real strong connection since you've been here with your deity too, which is definitely comforting, but maybe a little disconcerting at the same time, because it's way stronger than it was before, which is a little odd considering what you've been dealing with in the past few days. So, Saira, I need you to make a wisdom save, please.
Gosh. All right. Oh.
Ooh, 19, 21. You stumble forward. You catch yourself against a low bush or a rock or something, stopping yourself from falling completely. And your mind is cast back to the hag in Berescar when you tried to stop her, and you felt that intense burning pain in your mind, and then you fell to unconsciousness. For a moment, you just a brief moment, you feel like just screaming at the top of your lungs uncontrollably. Then you manage to stay yourself and bring yourself back to some semblance of control. But just for that fleeting moment, it was almost like you weren't you.
Does this you'd think, or I imagine I'd show pain on my face or something.
I would say so. There would definitely be a moment where you would show something. I'd say probably a single tear runs down your cheek too, just as that moment of pain strikes and is gone. Just the body reacting more so than an emotional thing.
You mentioned the hag. I don't feel so good. Maybe we should keep going and find a place quickly and leave, because I think someone's here. You know?
Who?
It's kind of like when I was chasing him down the road and I fell unconscious. Remember that? That feeling.
Like
Right
death?
then.
Is it getting worse this way, though? Or is it just the same?
The general direction, do I just know it hit me, or
It's just a feeling that just washed over you.
doesn't have a direction? I'll let you know when we move closer and get this done, and if I did it again. I'm gonna ease close to the cleric.
Shovels, Jerry, you've got shovels, right? We can get this done real quick. There's that spot right there on that side of the windmill looks like fantastic. From here, I'm sure if it was me, I would love to eternally rest in that spot, and I'm sure the children will love it too. It's great.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with you for some strange reason, because I mean, you know what a mill does, right? I don't think they'd want us to put the bones in there to be ground up. Maybe
Grinder.
maybe they are best
Do
left
that,
outside.
then we could spread them everywhere.
Why? No, we are not doing that to children. Thank
They're
you.
not
I
children
mean, they're
anymore.
not children anymore.
No.
They are
Bones.
sacred.
They're
No.
dead.
Not just bones. We
We can use
sold
their
them.
bones to make our bread.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Are the sails on the mill moving? Are there lights there?
Oh,
Or...
it's just a giant enemy.
so I'm assuming you're now moving closer again after dealing it. Yeah, so walking and talking. So you're getting closer. As you're getting closer, you can see that there's not much happening with the windmill. There is slight movement in the sails. They're not turning fully. It's like they're turning quarter of a turn and then stopping and sort of swinging back. So the mill's definitely not operating. And as you get closer still over the next sort of 20, 30 minutes, and now you can get a more clearer view of this mill up on the hill as you're now sort of in the basin of a small valley. As you start traversing up the other side, you can now see the top of the mill. The sails are torn and gapped and holed. It looks very run down. You can see the brickwork around the outside of the mill. There's a few cracks and vines growing around it. Again, it looks very similar to the gates that you came through. It's almost like the nature is starting to reclaim it. The creaking sound from the windmill itself can be now heard. In fact, what we will do, just to make this a little easier for you to understand what you're seeing and hearing. Don't worry about the cackling. That's part of the audio that you don't actually hear. We'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of the storm crows for a moment. But as you start to approach, and now you see again a very dilapidated old windmill, 3 stories high, as most tall mills are. Sails broken and battered and holed. The sails themselves rotted and torn in many places. So, approaching the mill from this position, as you look up, the old road sort of transitions here from being a winding path through the trees and hills and mountainsides sort of around it, descends into a fog-filled valley, which is where you are now. In the basin of this valley, you see, or across from behind the mill, you can sort of see the outline of a large wall, which you can only think, looking at the map that you've been given, is maybe the walled city of Vallaki, perhaps in the distance. And it's still a fair distance away, but you can just make out in the mist. A branch of the road twists off up towards the top of this hill and leads to the windmill that you can now see. The warped wooden vanes, said, smattered with linen, barely enough sail left to call it a windmill, to be fair. But
I don't think I'd want to own this place.
do you approach even closer, or do you stay here and discuss further?
I'm still
I want to
walking.
go inside.
The fuck?
Well, we're near, you're like at the bottom of the hill, so you still got a bit of travel. You got probably a 5 or 10 minute walk to get to the mill itself at this point.
I just like it's a windmill. There's got to be. Oh, it's a windmill. It's not a watermill.
It's not a water mill, no. It's not a place for water storage.
Getting my windmills and my water wheels mixed up. But I still want to go inside. It looks intriguing.
I'm just gonna search around the grounds once we
The
get
last
to it.
creepy place we went into collapsed above us. Remember that?
Have you seen a place since we got here that wasn't creepy? Like, this is as good as anything we've seen in this land. Like,
I mean that lady's house is pretty nice.
I don't know. Remember the stuff we saw out the window and that thing
That's
in the bill.
Couple trees, some daffodils. You can make a real home out of this, fix the sails.
Yeah, you should be good at that, right, Puck?
Huh.
Fixing
Fix the
sails.
sails. I mean, a little bit of work, but it could be done. What the? We're not.
You see? You see what I mean? It draws you in.
So, as you move closer and start looking around the grounds, anyone who's looking for a potential resting place for the bones of the Durst children, roll an investigation or a survival check, your choice.
Whoever is, I'll assist.
take an average here. So we got a few rolls here. 10, 17, 17, 23. 23. Lots of high rolls
Watching
there.
for little kids behind us.
So, as you look around and sort of scour the grounds, and again, the grounds aren't. It's a hilltop. There's no fence. You can't really see where there might have been a fence to fence this off. It may have been many years ago, perhaps. But after maybe 15, 20 minutes, half hour or so, you find what could only be described as a small graveyard. Maybe half a dozen graves, and not mounds of dirt, like it's just markers, like old headstones. One's in the shape of just a regular headstone, just a rounded top, square shape. There's another one that kind of has the shape of an angelic being, some form of angel, perhaps. Another has a symbol which is not familiar to any of you. I wouldn't believe it. It's a tall, thin gravestone, but on the front of it is carved a weird-looking symbol. You can roll a religion check if you wish to try and determine what it is, or history, your choice. 12 is not bad. 17. We got a 23. Ripple with religion. Are you proficient in religion, Ripple? No. And history, 19 history. Searching through your memory banks on history and ancient civilizations and things like that, it bears a resemblance to an old civilization, much older than Faerun and some of the gods there. But it's not something that's familiar. It looks very similar to something that you've seen before, but it's not exact. It's different, to a point where you can't determine what religion it is or what faith it is, but it has a striking resemblance to a more infernal style marking. And Orvine, you picked it up as well, even with a 12. It definitely has an infernal look to it. You're not familiar with the faith itself, but it does have a slight infernal sort of feel and look to it. And Ripple with a 19, I would say 18. Sorry, I would say it's maybe something you might have seen, something similar in your travels around the world with Captain Puck. But again, nothing that you can put your finger on.
Would there be like medium-sized stones that I could find while they're looking for this?
You mean just stones lying on the ground?
Yeah, like,
small
I'm
rocks.
thinking I can like a stone that I could like engrave like a rose and then maybe like a thorn onto.
I'd
So we could like mark their graves.
I would say, what was your roll?
I didn't roll anything.
Roll investigation for me, or survival, again, your choice. To see if you can find something that you could maybe use as a grave marker. This is not about whether you find anything or not, it's probably how long it takes you to find something suitable. And with a 6, it probably takes you a while, and you probably have to do a couple of wide circles of the mill, and then you come back to the mill and realize, shit, there's an old flagstone leaning up against the mill. That would probably work. It's pretty heavy. It's something that's fallen off the side of the mill. I'll get you all a strength check just to see whether you're able to lift it, or again, how long it takes you to sort of move it to a place that you think might be suitable. Yeah, you struggle with it. It's pretty heavy. I mean, it's not that you can't lift it. It just takes you a while to drag it. Unless you're willing to ask for help, it would take you a little bit to do it by yourself. Which kind of tracks with your size.
I could just get big and drag it.
As I said, it takes you a little while, but it's not impossible to do. And anyone who sees him dragging it might offer to help anyway. So
Yeah, gonna say
I'd
I
help.
can come over.
Yeah, with a
Yeah.
couple of people helping, you won't need to roll another check. With multiple people, you're fine.
And then, like, knowing kind of what he wants to do, I'll pull out, like, the rubbing that I got from the sword.
Yeah.
From, like, in the manor and say, well, this is their family crest. Maybe if you want to
Ah,
put this
yes.
on. And Sahira, is this related to the curse, do you think? These writings that are on here? Do you recognize this?
I am the person to ask about writings and translation. I don't do I know? Should I roll for that?
Roll a history check for me.
So, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Roll a history check. No.
Yeah, that's a nat one.
With a natural one. With a natty one.
I was just more
you-
thinking if it's related to the curse. that's
Yeah,
all.
you
Not-
look at it and go,
like-
yeah, I got no clue.
No.
I have no idea what that is.
Sarah's busy tuning up for every rose has its thorn on her lute, and she's getting ready for the ceremony. So she's not really. She's like, no, I don't know. Maybe the one that likes all the archaeology might know something about translation.
Oh, true. Also, we need his shovel.
Please don't ask. Just the shovel. Don't get him to poke around in other people's graves. Don't do it, Jarek. Keep it in your pants.
Probably already knee deep in someone else's.
Knee deep in someone else.
Like, we don't know where he is right now. He said not said anything. Wait. Jarek?
So,
Jarek?
what is Jarek up to after seeing this symbol and obviously seeing Reed and others drag the stone to a place where obviously is suitable to bury the bones of the Durst children?
I'm standing right beside them. I've just been shadow walking with them the whole time. But I pull out the shovel and I look at Reed and hold it out.
Does Reed take the shovel?
I don't dig. Oh, you mean to give that to Puck because he likes treasure.
Give it
He's
here,
good at
you
digging.
wankers. I'll start digging, like, I'll wait for someone to, like, point out where they want me to dig and I'll just start digging.
So, no need. We're not going to make any rolls for digging a hole in the ground. Initially, when you first put the blade of the shovel in the earth, you find that it is very hard. A lot harder than earth you've dug in before.
When we do that, I can pull out my miner's pick and start whacking at the ground with that.
Yeah, and again, you'll find the same thing. It's extremely dense, hard earth, which is unusual because it's very damp here. Like the mist and the drizzle, you'd expect the earth to be way softer, but for some reason it just seems to be very compact, very dense, and it does take you, I'd say, a good hour to dig a hole deep enough just to bury bones. Like, it is very thick, dense earth, and it's hard work. So I will need both of you to make a Constitution save, please, as you continue to attempt to dig this hole. Not bad, not bad. So we got a 15 and an 11. So again, no level of exhaustion. DC was 10. So you do, Arcos, you feel a little tired. Like it was hard work, and you haven't done like work like that for a little while. I mean, you were put through your paces while being incarcerated. Hard labor was definitely part of that routine. And you're used to hard work on the ship and that as well, but it's been a while since you've had to deal with any of that. So it's taken its toll a little bit. Maybe it's this place as well. Jarek, you're used to digging and searching for things, so it definitely didn't affect you, although you did note how difficult it was to dig into this earth. So now you're faced with a hole about 1.5 feet deep. 2 feet wide ish, like 2 feet by sort of 1.5 and about 1.5 deep. Plenty deep enough to put the children's bones in and bury.
While they do that, I would start engraving on the stone.
Are you proficient in masonry tools, Reed?
I have smith's tools. So I'd
See,
be
not-
using,
yeah,
like,
see,
because I'm
not
used to like
yeah.
carving metal.
So I'll get you to make a dexterity check with your proficiency.
With the smith's tools.
Yeah, just make a roll with your smith tools. The DC will be higher because they are not masonry tools. 18, that's pretty good. Again, not familiar with working with stone over metal, but the tools are somewhat handy. It's a little rough, but you managed to get the Durst crest reasonably well. Do you add anything besides just the crest?
Yeah, I was planning to do like a rose.
Just a rose and a thorn.
Shape of
A rose with thorns. Easily enough done. Again, this is going to take you probably an hour or two to do because it's not intricate by any means. You're not putting a lot of detail in it, but you want to make sure that people are aware of potentially who is this grave is marking. And so it will take a couple of hours to do so. It's going to take these guys an hour or so, an hour and a half to possibly 2 hours to dig this grave as well. So while Jarek and Arcos are digging a hole and Reed is engraving the stone, what are Orvan, Ripple, and Saira doing? You got 2 hours to kill.
Creating a demonic summoning circle. Let's go.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just look around all the tombstones and more.
Wow.
Maybe take some more rubbings of like.
Any particular
anything of
stone that you
note.
wish to make a rubbing of?
I kind of want to take the infernal one, but I also want to do that sneakily.
Okay, so you move away by yourself. Let's get a stealth check from you, just to see, and we'll get a perception check from Saira and Ripple. The boys will be busy and probably wouldn't really take much notice.
Motherfucker.
So we got a.
Damn it.
So I'm with an 11. That's not bad.
Oh.
Ripple, you rolled it twice. Why'd you roll it twice?
I didn't mean to.
So we'll take your first one. So 7.
I would. 7.
Sayer with a 20. So sorry, you definitely notice that Urbana sort of slipped away to the side and is taking a rubbing of this symbol on the grave. Again, it's not, you don't know what it is, you don't care. So it's not really a big issue for you. And Ripple, you don't really notice. Orvan, as you're taking the rubbings of the symbol, you get a pretty good rubbing. I'll get you to make a wisdom save for me, please.
Dice don't fail me now. Wisdom.
A wisdom save.
Fuck me.
A
well,
natural one.
is in the next campaign. Have a good one.
You do have your luck rolls. Don't forget, guys. I'm going to stop reminding you about this soon. So remember, you do have luck rolls available to you if you wish to use it.
Nah.
Nope. You're going to stick with a natural one. So as you finish up the rubbing of the symbol, suddenly you look up and you're no longer standing on the top of this hill in this graveyard. You're looking into what seems to be a dining room, a sitting room, large fireplace, large comfortable chair with its back facing you. You can see the legs of someone seated in the chair. You can see the feet sort of crossed over at the ankle and a single arm on the arm of the chair with elongated fingers and fingernails, maybe an inch long, just tapping on the arm of the chair, rolling his fingers. You can hear the click, 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 click of his fingernails on the arm of the chair. and there's a big portrait above the fireplace, which is just out of your view. You can't really make it out. Seems to be a man, perhaps, standing, cane, sword, you're not entirely sure. And then you hear a voice. You're unable to move, however, as well. You try to sort of maybe take a step forward or a step back, and you find yourself unable to move. Welcome to my land. You and I must have discussions sometime soon. I feel that our paths may be aligned more than you think. I sense chaos within you. Do you try and respond?
I can talk.
You can.
I'm just
Seems so.
restrained. Oh,
You're just unable to move. It seems you are able to speak.
It depends on what you want out of us. I am here for the unlucky.
Well, it seems luck may be on your side. I sense something in you that I do not see in the others. A power may be useful. You may be able to help.
What exactly do you need?
Much too soon to discuss such things. Much fun to be had.
Now, does he look like he? I never saw that.
You cannot,
shadowy
yeah,
figure.
you
It doesn't
cannot
look
see
like
his
that guy.
face. No, you cannot see him. All he sees, all you got is the back of a large chair, and you can see his hand, and that's it. So you do not see his face. You do not see what he looks like. You can just hear this voice, and the voice is everywhere. It's not coming from in front of you. It's just coming from everywhere. It's directionless.
I can't tell what color like his skin is or anything like that.
No, it's like I said, it's very obscure. This whole room is sort of dim and dark in places. Even with dark vision, it's just hard to pierce color in this place. It seems it is not real, but it is real. It's almost like you're caught in a sort of a limbo right now. And even you get that slight echo when he speaks often, and it sort of echoes off into the distance. Very dream sort of feeling to it. And he says to you, we have time in which we will speak again. But fear not, you are not in danger in my home. Your friends, however, may not be so lucky. And with that, you sort of blink and are standing, making that final charcoal stroke across the symbol on the gravestone.
And I'm just gonna not like react in any kind of way.
Yeah. For everyone else, no time. Anyone else, no time was lost. You were just doing your own things. So, sorry, you were aware that she's doing this rubbing on the gravestone. You probably saw her stop mid-stroke and then start again. And it wasn't like it was a stop and a pause, but nothing too dramatic. So probably nothing too unusual there for you. Ripple, what is Ripple doing? Since you have no idea what Orvan's up to, what is Ripple doing while the boys are working? Are you just observing them? Is there something specific you wanted to do?
I'm kind of half looking at the windmill thinking, I wouldn't mind going in there. And kind of half sitting watching the boys.
You
Thinking,
do
I should probably be in there helping them.
You do see a if you sort of move to one side of it, you do see a small single door in the side of it. It is closed.
I would want to try and open that.
You want to move to the windmill? Okay, we'll
Yeah.
stick with you just for a moment then. As you move towards the windmill and you reach out and try to open the door, it's not locked. The door creaks open loudly, which I would say no perception check needed. Everybody would hear the screech of the rusted hinges as Ripple pushes open the windmill door. Because you guys, this graveyard's maybe 30 feet from the windmill itself, so she's within eyeshot. Although with the mist, it's as she gets further closer to the windmill and closer to the door, so it sort of gets a little hazy, but you can definitely see her. The moment you guys hear this screech, you would all turn and sort of see that Ripple's pushed open the door. Does anyone say anything?
Ripple.
It's just
No.
a windmill. Just want to have a look.
Nothing's just anything here. Like, no.
Oh, yes, Captain.
Take one of the
Close
others
door.
with you. They're
Shut.
I said,
You.
Like,
what the fuck are you doing? And I cast Bardic Inspiration on her.
So,
No,
is that a
this time
D6?
She would
That
listen
is.
to her captain. And
Well, as you try and listen to your captain, you swung the door open. I need you to make a wisdom save for me. You do have a D6 Bardic Inspiration, however.
wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
I don't think I need
I
it.
don't think you need it. I think you're good. It's 19. So you swing open the door and you instantly get a smell of fresh baked pastry.
No.
Like it's sweet, it's savory. It smells like a fresh, like a bakery almost. Like the whole it hits you in the face the moment you swing open the door. Then you hear Arcos's voice and you turn and you speak to him and you sort of snap out of it and pull the door closed behind you as you step away from the windmill.
And I kind of go, whoa, that was really strange. And I'm going to go and tell Arcos what happened.
Then go tell him.
Captain.
you're all right?
Yeah, that was really weird. I swung open the door and it smelt like a bakery. You know, with a baked goods store.
He's like, shh, because he looks over at Jarik. He's like, that's fine. We'll talk about it later. Do you always dig this slow? Or it's only when you're looking for stuff that you dig with any real purpose, Jarik?
And is there any way I can help you guys?
I'm sorry, but I think you haven't pulled your weight.
I don't weigh that much, so it's not a lot, really. You, on the other hand, look like you are pretty hefty. No offense. Like you're just a big fella. That's all.
Boys, you're both pretty. Can I take one of your shovels for a little bit?
Take easy struggling.
I don't think either of you are struggling so much. It's just that you take notice of how dense the earth is, and it does take a little bit longer to dig this hole than it would
Do we think
otherwise.
A bit of rain would help.
No, this place is already like you can see that the earth is damp. Like even shoveling it out, it's wet dirt. It's dark. It's that dark grey brown. It's definitely wet, but it's oddly dense.
I don't think there's anything I can do to help. Has anybody else got a spare shovel or pick I can borrow?
I mean, it's
Arcos gives you
definitely
his shovel.
yeah.
I'm taking shovel.
He's
I mean,
like,
You sit down, Captain. You
Yeah,
have a break.
for flavour, what I mean, it is you end up digging the hole anyway, so it's not a big deal. You share the load, you dig the hole. Sawyer, was there anything specific you were doing in that sort of hour and a half, 2 hour period?
I would just share ghost stories the entire time about how ghosts become at peace once they are buried in the earth and resting. Kind of like her. We do have a cleric actually. So
Yes, you do.
she can give the rites.
Repeat cleric.
So what I'll say for you, Sawyer, as you're sitting there regaling the stories of the dead and helping, sort of trying to get some understanding of how what happens when someone is laid to rest. You're sitting there, sort of half by watching Jarek and Ripple and Arcos dig this hole. You're hearing the chipping away at the stone from Reed, and that rhythmic chipping kind of probably puts you into a little bit of relaxation with almost a rhythmic sound of drums, perhaps. You've clocked Orvan doing whatever she's doing. She seems to be safe. Everything seems to be relatively safe and quiet here. I'll get you to roll a perception check for me. Although you did get a 21 earlier, so 14. That's not bad. At one point, you spy Rose and Thorn. You're sort of sitting. You sort of glance over your shoulder towards Orvan, and you spy Rose and Thorn seated on what looks to be another piece of the windmill fallen years gone by. Just sitting, Rose sitting with her hands clasped in her lap, and Thorn is sort of leaning into his sister with his head sort of nestled in her side. And they just seem to be watching. Relatively peaceful looking. Then for a moment, Rose's face changes. The eyes sink in and become dark and hollow. The mouth drops open in a silent scream. The features of Rose's face sink into that of a skull. Just a mouth open, gaping in a silent scream. Just for a moment. And then back to the children's faces again. What strikes you odd, maybe a little fearful, a little watchful, a little wary of this place. There's something not right about this place, and you can feel it.
I will ask them. So I'll be saying, and I don't know if anyone else sees it, but I'll be saying to no one there at all. But I'll be saying, are you not comfortable with where he's digging? Would you like him to dig somewhere else?
You get no response. They just both continue to sit there watching. Every now and again, eventually both their faces switch, and it's that flickering from skull to face. Then it changes to more demonic features and back again. Those old flickering horror movies where it just swings from a serene face to something a little bit more demonic or skeletal. It just every now and again switches and glitches backwards and forwards. Then after maybe 15 or 20 minutes or so, they fade completely. But I would say it leaves you with a very uneasy feeling.
I will probably go over to Arvan the cleric. I think about going to Arcos to explain, but then I stop and pivot and go straight to Arvan. I'm getting... I see them, but they are not... They keep switching to screaming. From peaceful to screaming. I'm not sure. Are we sure they want to be buried here? Is there any rights?
Indicated they were the ones that said they wanted to be buried. Although someone said that it was the Gustav.
It was Gustav that asked. Yeah.
They wanted. They just wanted to get out of the.
I believe that Rose and Thorn did express their want to be buried at the windmill too, but it was initially Gustav that asked for it. But I think at a later interaction they also wanted to be laid to rest. But I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they may not have specified where they just wanted to be laid to rest.
Just been outside. I remember them wanting to be buried outside.
They definitely
had promised.
They definitely did not want to be in the house. They wanted to be out of the house.
Say we fulfill our duty and not tell anyone about this. Maybe. Do you agree?
I think we can't. They're not coming at us, right? They're just sitting.
Sitting.
Maybe
listening.
they're wanting to see it to the end.
Maybe it's this place.
I think so.
No one
Not
rest-
everything is not as it seems. We do
Yes.
ride by them.
Maybe bury their doll with them. Maybe that will help.
I hope it has protection. Actually, do I have a
Maybe say a prayer on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will hope that this will make them happy. We've got all the pieces that they wanted. And I mean, they've already dug the damn hole.
And her shoulder, and I walk away before anyone realizes we're like whispering to each other.
Although, actually, on you saying that though, can I, like, just for like peace of mind for us, detect good and evil then?
Sure. It's 60 feet, right?
If we're a bit worried about they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
60 feet?
I'm pretty sure it's 60 feet.
30
60
foot.
Oh, is it 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you concentrate. 30 feet radius trying to detect good and evil. What does it do specifically? That's there.
Sorry, it'll come up in a second.
Yeah, that's a good.
Undead celestials, fiend,
That's right, yes. Undead.
dragon.
Yes, there's no
Magic
celestials, there's no undead. So technically, for the duration, you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fail, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you.
A place or an object as well.
Yeah, place or object is magically consecrated or desecrated. That is interesting. So, there is no creature that you feel here, undead, celestial, otherwise. However, the grave that you've just taken an engraving from the headstone is most certainly been desecrated.
Well, fuck.
The rest of the area around in this graveyard is consecrated ground. This particular grave has been desecrated.
Okay. I'm not going to tell her that.
Fair call.
Just for a peace of mind of us, I've put out a radius. I do not think anything is wrong in this graveyard. They are fine. Yeah, they will be hopefully happy once we do this for them.
You can make an insight check versus deception, because she is most definitely lying. So I'll get a deception from you, Orban, and a insight from you, Sawyer, please.
Where is my deception?
Nope, I don't.
So inside of a 10, he's got a.
Yeah,
Let's see what the deception roll is.
There we go.
oh yeah.
You're a pretty good liar, so you're reasonably convincing. Sorry, you believe what she's telling you, that she doesn't sense anything untoward. But you still feel uneasy. I will say that with what you've seen, and just your feelings, your gypsy intuition tells you there's something not quite right here.
Try and play some of the cheerful, Vistani music we heard at camp. Kind of lighten the mood and give Jerick a beat to dig to.
And with that, we'll say that the grave is now dug, the headstone carved. You've completed the first part of your task. Who lays the bones in the grave?
I will.
Not me. I have short arms.
So, Orvan, do you unwrap them or leave them wrapped? I guess is the
I'm
question
gonna
here.
leave them wrapped. But I am gonna make sure that the doll is.
You're gonna place the doll?
definitely
Okay.
Inside. Yeah.
So you lay the bones in the makeshift grave. You lay the doll down on top of the folded cloth. We'll go around everyone and see if there's anything anyone wants to say. So we'll start with the two grave diggers. So Zarik, is there anything that you want to say as Orvan lays these bones in this makeshift grave, as you're all sort of stood around watching this?
I will just say, on this day I learned the bones can also go in the ground and not just out. That's it.
That's great. Arcos, does Arcos say anything in this moment?
I find this land of yours deeply unsettling, but I hope that you had some good times here. And he sort of hangs on that for a bit because he doesn't think they did. And rest well in the ground.
Ripple.
That'll do.
Ripple.
Not the watery grave. That is usually good, but I hope they find peace. Their poor wee souls.
Reed.
Well, hopefully you don't have to join that little parade.
Is that all you say?
Yep.
Sire.
You are finally free into the open sky and the rain, washing away all the confinements that you had. Can rest under the stars, the way it's meant to be. Farewell, friend. That's it.
And lastly, Orvan.
I lay you in this holy ground where you find your peace. I hope that you're more fortunate in the next life, and that you finally fuck you.
Asshole.
God damn it. It is holy ground, you're right.
It is.
And that you do not roam these plains anymore. I have left you with your doll. May it help you in your next life. Rest well.
And with that, you start to cover the bones with the dark grey earth of this land. Seal the grave, mark it with the marker. Task complete. No sooner have you... Okay,
Sorry, I did have that stamp as well from the
You did,
mansion.
yes.
Can I just leave that as like a little totem on top too?
You can, indeed. So as you do so, and you all now sort of step away from this grave, knowing you've completed fulfilled the promise you made to Gustav Durst to ensure that his children are laid to rest at the family windmill. Rose and Thorn slowly apparate, standing in front of the grave marker. Thorn clutching his sister's arm, sort of looking up at all of you, and slight smile on his face. And Rose simply looks up and just silently mouths the word thank you as they slowly again dissipate into mist and float away.
It's not tears, it's seawater.
Now, I mean, you're still in the hours of the morning, so you're probably heading towards lunchtime. By the time you manage to dig the hole and get to here, you're probably looking around midday. What sun there is here, it is high in the sky. You can see it sort of glowing through the mist cover and cloud cover above. But it's also eerily quiet, save the sound of the blades of the windmill creaking as they slowly sort of move backwards and forwards in the slight breeze. But you all get the feeling that you're being watched as well. Just suddenly, now that you've completed what you wanted to do, just every single one of you without a roll, you just get that odd feeling that you're being watched, that someone's standing looking at you.
Arcos, I know you like me, but you don't have to keep looking at me. It's really off-putting.
Trying to work out what you're made of. Like, there's different bits on you. Have you noticed that? I'm sure you have. You probably lived with that all your life. Sorry.
Why are you looking at his bits?
We got really close last night.
It's because he likes furry
What?
bits.
That
Oh,
is
You know,
not.
furry to furry.
you two camped together. Hmm.
We took the same watch, remember?
Was a little too camp for me, unfortunately. But you know, Jarek, like, it's good to get to know people better and understand. I'm gonna go this way.
In all seriousness,
Closer
though,
by the fire.
in all seriousness,
Well, that
though,
is
does
fine.
anybody,
Go ahead. Sorry.
does anybody else feel like there's eyes boring into us?
I mean, that's kind of how we felt the whole time we've been here. It's always
Things-
like,
It's much more intense, and now that it's been brought to light, everyone notices it. You just
It's
feels
not a
like
nice
you're being
feeling.
watched. Like, you're just not entirely sure where, but you feel like someone or something is watching you right now.
it's weird.
There's no
'cause I'm
chanting.
usually the one.
No
Yeah.
chanting, no singing that you can hear.
It's weird. There's no singing either.
We get it. You're eerie, and you don't want us to leave. Fuck off.
Arcos, you called it out loud, I presume?
Yeah.
As you call out loud, you hear the creaking of hinges once again. Familiar sound of creaking hinges as the windmill door swings inward. And a youngish woman steps out. Shawl over her shoulders, dark hair tied up in a bun. Reasonably attractive, probably in her 20s or 30s, like maybe late 20s, early 30s. Hands sort of clasped in front, and she sort of steps out and says, "Have you quite finished? I did not want to disturb. It seemed important what you were doing. But if you have
Yeah.
finished, I would much like you to leave my property, please."
Where did you come from?
From inside windmill, clearly. This is my home.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't realize that anybody was in there. We probably should have knocked.
I look at Arcos and I'm like,
You open a
there
door.
wasn't anybody there when I opened the door.
You live in that
Yes, I
shithole?
live. That is not very nice. Do you see me insulting the way you live? Well, not that I know where you live, but we do what we must. We live where we can. And I live here with my sisters and my aunt.
Oh, well,
That explains it.
lovely to meet you.
Forgive
Sorry
me.
to
My name
intrude on
is
your property.
Morgant. But
Ripple.
as I said, technically you are trespassing, but it seemed important what you were doing. So I leave you to it. But now you are
Right.
finished. It is time for you to leave.
No, so. Apologies, we didn't realise anybody lived here. We thought it was abandoned, but we'll go.
Oh, do any little kids live here?
I'm just gonna grab him and walk
She
away.
she looks at you, and you've already insulted her once, and she looks at you and just she doesn't respond. Looks back towards Ripple and the rest of the group, and again asks politely for you to leave.
We've been told that name before, no? Or at least-
Morgant.
I think
I am not entirely
Yeah.
sure.
Morgant's the night hag, because
That
I've got it in my
feels-
notes.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
entirely possible.
Gossip in the town about the hag, maybe.
Possibly.
Hmm.
Or it may have been
Oh, Ivan?
Ivan was one that told you about Morgant,
was
yes.
talking to us about it. Yeah.
I am gonna slap. I want to call them Dags, and it's not Dags.
It's Reed. Different campaign.
I want to. Welcome to my Saturday night, folks. I want to slap Reed, and I'm going to look at Morganth and say, "Nice to meet you, Morganth. I think your residence has intrigued me since we got here."
Does she look familiar
No,
from
she
when I
does.
tried to throw my hand axe?
No, she does not. The one thing you all notice now is Ripple specifically, you'd be the first to pick up on it and the rest of you would, is the smell of fresh baked pastries coming from the interior of the windmill.
It's what I
Now
smelled before.
that the door is wide open.
Smells lovely.
That smells amazing.
Indeed. We have meager means, but what we do have, we make our own.
Would you sell any?
Of course, for the right price.
What's your price? It smells so good. What do you have? Fresh bread.
Oh, pies. Fresh baked pie.
Oh, that sounds amazing. How much?
But I thought the Durst owned this place.
I'm going to just whack him again. Ignore him. These fresh baked pies smell amazing. Could I please buy one?
Ripple. Remember, you're deathly allergic to pies. We should go. Absolutely. She puffs up to pastry. You see, it's not really good for him. We should go. Thank you for
This
letting us do what we
is
need
shame. Our pies are quite famous.
to do. Huge shame. It's really a big shame.
But are you
All right,
allergic
well,
to pies, sir? Would you
I'm
like to buy?
allergic to no. Because she likes pie so much, and it's rude if I have a pie and then she can't have any pie.
I'm
They have a
looking at
gluten
him
intolerance.
like, what? What are you saying?
She's very intolerant. As is
Sister,
Reed.
we have
Celiac,
visitors. She calls
please
over her
do.
shoulder.
No, we really must be going. We don't want to disturb you any more than we already have.
Sorry, I'm a celiac hybrid.
She calls over her shoulder to her sisters. You hear from the interior more footsteps as another two women step out. Again, about the same age, similar colour and hearing in their hair, and even similar features as they sort of step out. Both, one of them carrying a platter of small pies. And
those look so good.
because Ripple, you have smelt this before and you're tending to lead this conversation, I need you to make a wisdom save for me, please.
Bardic inspiration.
You have a d6 and you have a luck roll. Natural 20.
And I don't need it.
Natural 20 from Ripple. Ripple, for a moment, the smell of that pastry is so unbearably good. You almost feel compelled to take one. And then you just sort of, the words of Arcos in the back of your mind as you sort of manage to break free of whatever that was, and it feels a little odd, and you know that something not right happened.
And having that happening, I'm going to reach into my pocket, grab a gold, look at this woman, grab her hand, put it in her hand, and then start running in the opposite direction.
So you grab her hand and put a gold in her hand?
Yeah.
She
That's
grasps
for all
your
troubles,
wrist.
I'm sorry.
She grasps your wrist as you do so.
Oh, she's
And she is very strong. You need to make a strength check against her to see if you can pull your hand away.
This is where I might need that thing. Where is the strength check? Would be under S, you would have thought.
It'd be
It's
under
under your
the top.
skills at the top.
I got it.
Not a save, just a check. A
And
10.
I'm going to add a D6.
You can add your d6. So 13 total. So I'll make this a public roll.
Oh, sorry.
No! Uh-oh.
She gets a 22. As
no.
she grips your wrist, you try to pull away, and you pull, and you get stopped immediately. There's no give. She looks you in the eyes, and
I smile.
she smiles back at you and says to you, "We will meet again, I'm sure."
Oh. Definitely.
A very sly sort of grin comes over her face, and as her lips crack, you can see her teeth are not pristine. They're very jagged and brown and green and yellowed, very gnarled, as she slowly releases your hand and folds her hands back. She took the gold.
Okay.
But you get
no
the
doubt.
distinct impression that if you don't leave now, you may never leave.
We are off. Thank you so much for your hospitality and the offer. But let's go, guys.
Do you leave, everyone? Is the question.
Ripple
Might
be
be
turning
time for
around
that.
and walking.
That leg
Actually
race we were
Kieran.
talking about before, Drake. Let's do that now, and Marcus will leg it out, making sure that they're following him. Like he'll run and then he'll stop, and he's like,
Does everyone turn and quickly leave? Is the question now.
Ripple be gone.
Probably the last to leave because I'm like backing up, watching them.
And as you slowly back up, if everyone else is moving forward, they do follow you for a bit. They just start, the three of them walk forward slowly, not in any kind of threatening manner, but just following maybe for 10 or 15 feet before they stop and watch you head down the hill back towards the road.
I'll just say, we'll see you some other time. Until next time.
And with that, you leave the windmill back out onto Old Slavich Road. Sound of the crows circling ahead fill your ears once again. As you look back up the hill, you can see the three figures standing side by side, as the center one, in the shadow of the mist, as they start to turn and head back towards the windmill, her shape shifts dramatically. Her arms become long and spindly, her legs sprout. She doubles in size almost, hunches over, large sort of hump on one side as she leans right over. The hair becomes long and scraggly. She turns to look over her shoulder and you see the flash of yellow, unnatural in her eyes. And then you hear the cackle of an elderly, unnatural being echo across the valley. And it's about there. We'll take a 5-minute break. Probably a good place to take a short break. Drink, toilet break. Seems you may have dodged a bullet there, Ripple.
Ooh, I kind of, ooh, I was worried for a second.
I was ready to start stepping. I was like,
Right,
not
chat.
gonna do it yet.
We're going to
Okay.
take 5
Just,
minutes. We will be back very shortly. Don't go anywhere. BRB.
Oh,
Similar,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
Gotcha.
back. So,
Quick, hide your nerd.
Wait,
hide your
why
nerd,
would
people,
we
hide
hide
your
it?
nerd.
I think that's the whole like.
So, as you retreat, just as a bit of a retcon here, as you retreat down the hill, Orvan, you did want to do that. What you messaged me, yes? At what point?
Yeah, discreetly. Though.
Yeah, at what point did you want to do it? Sort of before you
kind
left,
of
as you left? Just as a thing for me.
As we were leaving,
Okay.
and it was just sort of saying like, yeah, we'll see you next time. In the future,
Perhaps.
they're under my protection,
Wait.
kind of.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday. Exactly.
Oh, see you in the NT.
Easily enough done. You make it back down to the road. As I said, you see them up on the hill. You see the one in the center transform, become much larger and very hag-like, as you have been given. I forgot you'd been given the information about Morganth. So that was well done on your part. So you're back down on the road. It is around midday. You've got some options. You do have a map. You know that to your west, not directly, but to the west, you have the township of Vallaki. You've obviously got the village of Berescar, which is a couple of days back to the east. Pretty much is up to you what you do next. You've fulfilled your oath to lay the children to rest.
We've gone this far. Shouldn't we just go on to Vallaki? Take the what was his name? Peter?
Yeah, Peter. We meeting him? No, we're gonna go meet at the massive camp, right?
Something like that, he mentioned.
Yeah, we had to go see the gypsies.
Jesus, you're feeling your oats over there. You're right.
It's vibing over there.
Yes, queen! Let's go! Look at that gypsy!
Real for real, no cap.
Oh my god.
Wow. That's -1 level for you.
Yeah, that's like as good as anything. We can't get out of here. We did our thing that we needed.
There wasn't much to do at Berescar, so people don't like
No.
us there. Just
Well,
off
it's very
merchant,
unresponsive.
so that's kind of fucked.
Or should we
Tatiana
carry
kind
on
of
down
liked
the
us.
road?
I mean, yeah, she did, and I mean, the innkeepers kind of like us now, from what it seems
Prince,
like.
and
But
Prince
We
Strahd was kind of friendly.
Could keep moving the way
Mm,
that
still
we
don't
were
know
going.
about him.
We don't
See,
know
we-
how far for nightfall as well, because we need to be out protected.
Yeah. Where is the
Like,
castle from where we are?
The castle
Sort
is,
of like looks around.
if you look around, you won't be able to see it now because it is beyond the gates that you came through. So as you look around, you can't see the castle, but you would remember that it was on the cliffs above Berescar, so that would be back to the east. And as you look back towards the east, all you can see is a wall of fog where the gates would be from this distance.
I'm sure they said something about leaving, going the way that we're going now to get out of this place.
Yeah, but we were told that before. But if anyone's going to be able to help us get out of this place, it's the prince, right? Like, He came
No,
here.
I thought
True.
wasn't there that wizard in the tower or whatever we
The
heard about?
Mad Mage, I want to say.
Yeah, that guy.
Lives near. Where's Vallaki?
the name doesn't inspire confidence. So you
East.
don't call someone the Mad Mage, and they're like, oh, all chummy and friendly, and it's going to be a
Yeah.
good time.
You
was
know,
the
you
Mad
stay by
Mage of
yourself for a while.
Baratok.
Baratok.
Yeah, and
That's
you
right.
are aware, looking at your map, that the Baratok Mountains are to the far north.
Maybe we should go for them.
Stay in Vallaki for the night. And
I'm
figure
sure
out
Oh,
it's
we've
got
got
some
a map?
stories we
Mad
could
Mage.
share.
Blackie is northeast, I think.
Or we
northwest.
could go that way. Oh,
Yeah,
not this
we
lake
follow-
barren
we follow the
area.
road.
I don't have good
Essentially,
direction.
yeah. Again, where you're standing, like there is old signposts around. You see an old signpost next to, because where this road's off to, and it says literally on the signpost, Old Bonegrinder, on the signpost, and the sign leading to the northern part of this road, which is snakes up through more trees and towards the north of this land, is a town called Vallaki on the signpost.
Let's head to Vallaki.
I mean, I take out my hand-drawn map that I've been making this whole time and point to where I think it should be.
Yeah.
As well.
Let's head that way.
If we can piss off another entire
Yeah, I mean,
town of people.
nobody likes us where we came from, so let's see if we can make friends with the next place.
Well, they did say there's weapons as well, so maybe we can outfit our guys for whatever comes next. I don't know.
So, moving on towards Vallaki, then, is it? Is this the consensus we have?
Yeah, was the camp?
Um,
The camp was south to Vallaki.
South of Vallaki, yes. They didn't
yeah,
give
yeah.
you, like, they gave you a rough idea on your map. They didn't give you an exact location, but it is definitely in the forest somewhere south of Vallaki.
Do you have an opinion, Sayara? Like, being quiet.
We have lost
Really
you.
quiet, actually.
We have lost your microphone.
Oh, maybe
She's
the
lost her voice.
text
It's
up.
gone.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
We are we are going to another camp soon, so I am happy. I am following wherever you guys go. I say not creepily at all because you guys are going to be like creepy.
So we get
I
good
follow
vibes
you
from
where
the
you go.
the gypsies. You like these are good gypsies, Sayara? You're pretty confident with these gypsies.
I mean, there's no good or bad. There's just gypsy, you know. We have good or bad pirates.
No, mostly they're just considered to be bad. It's not.
you know us?
You
Just-
guys and your stereotypes.
Are you
stereotypes.
bad? If you're saying there's only bad pirates, are you?
No.
It's a stereotype, like gypsies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, he was bad. I mean, he was.
Bad to the
What's
bone.
your biggest
No.
steal?
Bad.
My
Bad.
biggest. What?
Steal?
No. We
You didn't steal?
need
Plunder?
Get that.
Pillage?
factor so people fear us, but
I
no,
mean,
we're not bad.
He had to be bad at one point. Look at him.
You see, there's not
Can't
that
be all
many
soft
bad.
and squishy forever.
There's not that many bad archaeologists. Well, there was this one girl by the name of Laura, something like that.
Not Laura Toft.
No,
Fuck's sake, guys. So, walking and talking.
Mm.
You start heading northward, following the road. Road's muddy. You sort of, at one point, you feel like you're heading back towards the east as the road curves. Still continuing northward, but it's large curves. It curves back towards the east and curves northward again and more northward. And then eventually, after probably 2 or 3 hours, it starts to curve westward in the direction of where you believe Vallaki to be. I need everyone to make a perception check for me again. Read with a 20. 16, 6, 10. Who are we missing? Nope, got everyone. So Jurek, Orvan, Reed, Arcos, and Sire just. Ripple, not so much. That singing can be heard again as you make a curve in the road. As you start to head back into forestry on either side of the old Slavich road, you start to hear that tune first it's just almost a hum, just a tune itself, but then the words start to come again in Old Slavic. So I would say the only one that would have any kind of understanding of what they were would be Sayera with her ancestry, her gypsy ancestry. It's that same rhyme, but it seems a little slower than it was before, more deliberate.
Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to.
Think they are following us?
I'm twirling my blade to the rhythm.
Maybe they are protecting us.
It's a little bit like sirens, except
Yeah.
slightly creepier than sirens, and sirens will follow you. And they'll
I
eat
thought
you.
sirens
And they'll kill you.
bring you over.
What are we
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Entice. This is
Yeah,
not enticing.
It's
This
different.
makes me want to like hide under the covers.
creepier because it sounds like children.
Maybe they think you and me are kids, Puck. I mean, we're small.
You're an idiot.
You do realize that you have a beard.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've never seen a bearded kid, no?
Dwarf
Dwarf?
children. Yeah.
Yeah. Or, like, come on.
Continue onward.
I mean,
I think the
some
heck
female dwarves have beards. I mean,
Oh, shit.
The singing or the tune becomes louder, more defined. So eventually it becomes almost a drone inside your mind as well as in your ears. I need everybody to make a wisdom save, please. Now, does anyone have Elven ancestry? So yours would be an advantage. Technically, you do, but you don't at the same time.
I just grew up with the tree huggers, okay?
I'm using
And I
my
will-
inspiration and re-rolling
So
because
will
that
I.
will shred.
Yep, you can just hit the up arrow on your existing roll to give, which will give you an advantage roll. So just make sure to uncheck your advantage, your luck on your thing.
Yeah, I rolled it before we said it was
Yeah.
advantage.
It's all good. So Riffle didn't click her up arrow. Well, you can't hub your mouse over your existing roll. You'll see arrows on it, and all you do is click the up arrow. But you've already rolled the second one, was only one higher, so you screwed it anyway. What do you mean you can't see it? You not hover your mouse over your rolls over the
yeah,
number, and
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
when you want to roll again, just hit the up arrow.
Like that.
Don't do it now.
Okay.
Right.
Just getting rid of all the good numbers. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. She failed anyway.
Mine
Ah.
doesn't count. I just wanted to
Damn it.
see.
Okay, so that's right, because you've got ancestry, so you're good. So who failed here? Reed and Ripple. Did you fail as well? Sorry, no, you didn't. You got dirty 20. You're good. Arcos, you're good. Just yes, it looks like just Reed and Ripple. What was Orvan's 17 was his second? Oh no, was a 9. Did you roll with advantage?
First one was a 17. I rolled it and then we said
Okay.
advantage.
Okay, so
and then I rolled the
17.
second
So you're safe. That's all good. So Ripple and Reed, both of you turn without thinking and start walking into the forest. The rest of you will see like both Ripple and Reed just sort of make not a sharp left turn, but they just slowly start to sort of wheel left and start walking into the forest instead of following the road.
Ripple, it's this way. No.
And
I just mutter under my breath, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, no response from either of them as they continue to walk into the forest.
I brush up and grab her by the wrist. Like the creepy lady did. No.
Right, so you grab, does anyone do the same for Reed or not?
Oh, fuck that guy. No, I'm just joking.
So, well, we'll deal with you first. You rush up, you grab Ripple by the wrist. Contested strength check. Ripple versus Arcos.
Oh, that'll be great.
Ripple's stronger than Arcos,
I'll
it seems. You'll use your luck.
Well, it's probably true. Yeah.
Roll yours again.
Oh,
not much better with a natural one.
damn it.
So as you reach out, you grab her hand. She just looks over her shoulder at you and complete blank expression on her face. It's not Ripple, and she rips her hand from yours with a strength that is unparalleled and turns and continues to walk.
A little help over here. I can't.
What are the rest of you doing at this point, now that you've obviously heard Arcos do that, and Reed is still and Reed and Ripple are matching pace at this point and walking into the forest.
While he's taking care of Ripple, I'm gonna run up to Reed and try and trip him, because I'm more dexy than I am strength. So
Okay.
I'm gonna
do
try
have a
and trip him
question.
over.
So it'll be...
Am I still spinning my blade?
Yes,
God.
yes, you are. Your blade is constantly moving, so it doesn't really matter at this point. So she's going to try and attempt to trip you. So to make it Dex versus Dex. Contested Dex checks here.
Fine. Nah.
Ooh, his Dex is definitely higher than yours, though. But you managed to succeed. You sort of halfway sweep him. You sort of drop down and kick his legs from underneath him as he steps forward. And Reed, you topple over and hit the ground. Make a Constitution save for me, Reed. That's a success. You take the hit and you sort of blink your eyes for a moment. You look over and you see Syra standing there. You're on the ground. You think, how did I get here? What the hell? I was just on the road. Fuck.
I take out my whip and try and get within 15 feet. If I have to run, I'll run of Ripple.
She's not running, so you'd have to quicken your pace, but you could walk to do so.
I will fling it out, and at the same time, I'll use it to cast Lightning Lure.
Are you able to do that from your whip?
It is a focus. I'm just using it for flavor.
Okay, seems fair. It's just going to use Lightning Lure to try and grab her.
Yeah, it's just for the flavor of flicking the whip out. It's the casting a spell at the same time.
Sounds good. So you reach out, you flick the whip, and cast Lightning Lure along with it. So Ripple, you need to make a DC 14 Strength saving throw, which you fail with a natural 1. According to that,
damage.
No, it's 9. It was a natural 1. If you intend to not take damage, I can say we can forego the damage.
I'm not thinking of it at that point. I'm just...
Okay, so you'll take 1 damage, but you have failed, so you are stopped in your tracks. I'd say with the 1 damage, make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Are you able to remove the damage yourself, or do you want me to do it?
You can do it, please. Oh. Yeah, no, I can't remember how.
No good. What was your con save? 20. You saved.
20.
So you as well, on taking that little bit of damage from the lightning lure as you're stopped in your tracks, you blink and think, why am I in the forest?
Ow! Wouch! What?
Yeah. You also got pulled 10 feet to within 5 feet of me as well.
Yeah. You're still in the forest, but...
Yeah.
Why did you do that? And why are we in the forest?
You and Reed ran off.
Is
I
the
was-
camp this way?
Happily
Like, Are we
walking
going towards the camp?
down the road.
I don't know where you were going, but it wasn't the way we were going.
Oh, interesting.
I just must have like
Zone.
daydreaming or something. Who knows?
It's lucky
You
Arcos
guys-
was onto it.
We're talking about sirens. Is this the same as what sirens do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
How do you how do you deal with that on the?
Earplugs work well. Cutting their heads off works well too, if you can get to that point.
Earplugs? Okay.
I mean, they must be close by if they have that strong of an effect on us.
But I'm not sure
the
this will work
song?
on
Mm.
these things. They're otherworldly in a way that sirens aren't, I think.
That was really strange.
So,
I'm
as you now
fascinated from the
sort of
earplugs.
standing around trying to figure out what's going on, you see that Reed's picked himself back up again. You now realise that, I mean, you're standing in the forest somewhat, not just off the road, but the music, the sound of that song is loud, persistent, and starts to sound, it feels like it's moving around you now. And suddenly you start to see slowly apparate 5 young women just skipping in a circle around the group, chanting this rhyme over and over again. They get to the end, they start again, and they're just slowly circling you as they start to appear. First as if mist, more solid, and then eventually you can start hearing their footfalls on the forest floor as their voices in unison are chanting this rhyme. And then they stop. They stop moving. They all stop. They're all standing around you and just looking at you. Sound of the song stops, and 5 of them just staring at you.
We run back to back.
Does anyone do or say anything at this point? I'll give you one thing to do or say to prepare for whatever this may be.
Do they look if they're? You said that they became.
They started,
solid
yeah.
after
They
it.
started. They appear sort of formed out of nothing, but now appear very solid, like fully corporeal.
I look
You
at Arcos.
set off with their heads, right, Puck?
Sirens
They don't look like any siren you've seen.
of the earth.
Hey Arcos, you know that thing you do where you like to argue a lot and just raise your voice and go off at people? I think you should start doing it. And I think
They tried
Sarah
to
should
take
start
Ripple.
playing some tunes.
Remember that they tried to take Ripple from you.
You're saying disrupt their song.
What the fuck you want? Fucking leave us alone, we've had enough.
What he said.
They start to slowly move in a circle around you again, just walking around, not saying anything. They don't take their eyes. They don't take their eyes off you as they start to slowly move in a circle again.
I'm gonna close my eyes because I feel that that's getting a bit too hypnotic. Close my eyes and grab hold of the person next to me.
Did we back to
How
back it?
close are they to us?
Have you back to back in the center?
That's what I was hoping that would happen.
Yeah.
But
So I'll just do something here so I can get an idea of where you guys are all at. Center here. Does anyone make any aggressive movement? Is the question.
No, Ripple is literally standing there with her eyes closed,
Yeah.
chanting, "Please go away, please go
No,
away,
but,
please go away."
No, but I still have the whip in my hand.
Okay, so and you're
but I
and
haven't yet.
yeah, you're constantly moving with a weapon anyway. So I would almost hazard a guess that you would. It wouldn't matter what your intention is. You seem like you're at the ready and aggressive most times, Reed, because your weapon is constantly in motion.
Right.
So they slowly start moving in a clockwise formation to begin with, then they stop. 10 seconds. They start moving in the opposite direction. Again, not a single one of them taking their eyes off you. They start slowly humming the tune as they move around. Does anyone do anything? They haven't made any aggressive motion at this point.
So all run as a group back that way. They haven't done anything. Just leg it. We don't have to fight everything.
I'll lead it.
Just dancing.
I'll try to knock one over as I run through. How about that?
So,
No.
so
Don't
Reed,
touch him.
so Reed, you try to run through and knock one over.
No, I was asking. That's why I was asking Puck. He's saying we need to run that way. I'm like thinking, bull rush
The
through.
moment you speak and start talking about this, Arcos and Reed, they start to close ranks. They move a little closer, tightening their formation. And you can see their faces now starting to shift a little. They're not the serene young women that they started out to be. The features start to twist and morph, more twisted and dead-like than alive. Eventually,
you back up. What would your prince say?
eventually,
Wants us alive.
they don't seem to respond to you at all, Orvan. As their clothes shift as well, become rags and tattered and torn, blood-stained. Their features become grey and deathly. Their eyes sunken, pale. One of them cocks its head sideways at you, Arcos, and probably one near you too as well, Reed. You were the one speaking before, and cocks her head to sideways and grin at you, bearing a set of very sharp and pearly white fangs.
This is when I swing.
Before we do anything, we are going to firstly switch to this scene so you can see what you're now facing. And we'll get everyone to roll initiative.
Oh my god.
There's a natural 20 in there somewhere.
Yeah. It's a little bit too celebratory, I think.
So who are we waiting on? Oh, Arcos and Orban. To wait for Orban to get back.
I'll be back in a moment.
Yep, that's all good.
Dog is honking.
No worries.
I was wondering what that was.
Honking. Like a goose.
Yeah, you know, dog honks.
Is it the pre-vomit honks or?
Kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Got
Oh.
fluff in his mouth or something.
Oh.
Some pretty good rolls here. Did I miss one? I must have missed one. Oh no, that's the group. Oh, we got two on the same initiative. Let's re-roll that one. Can't have two on the same. That's better.
All right.
You good? Yeah. I haven't got my. I hadn't changed my settings to separate initiative by dex, but that's okay.
Oh goodness, he's still going. Jesus.
So we might get some people rolling on the same initiative, but that's right.
What the fuck am I doing here?
So you can go to the combat tab on the chat on your right, little swords, and there'll be a dice there to roll, or it'll be on your sheet.
At the top.
Oh, there? On my left.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
If that'll do.
Right, so we will begin our combat. Let's turn our battle music down a little bit. So first up, it is Arcos. You get the top of the initiative. As you were talking to Reed, you were the first to see them start to shift and morph. So you get the initiative. Sawyer, you're on board.
Fuck. And
I better unpause it so you can move.
yeah, moving. I will grab out my silver sword.
Indeed.
I will move. Is this towards out of the forest?
This is this map's a little weird. So we're in the forest at the moment. So
Yep.
the direction to get you out of the forest will be east. So in this direction.
Damn it! I went the wrong way. That's alright.
But it doesn't really seem to matter. Like, it doesn't really matter in this situation.
We just wanted to go.
So don't forget to target, which I think is T to target.
Ugh.
That will miss, unfortunately, with an 8.
Well, yeah, it was a 2, so.
So you swing your sword, and this thing is very quick, almost Matrix-like, as you swing across its face, and it sort of arcs its head backwards, and the sword just straight over top.
And then bonus action, disengage. I'm like, alright. I'll go back to where I was.
No worries. So next up is this one's turn. It sort of moves around in a bit of a circle and moves into Orvan and Ripple. I'm just going to make a quick roll here to see which one it's going to attack. Orvan, it seems. So it is going to attack you with a claw.
I'm going to use my reaction on this.
Which hits with a 15 or 21. What is your reaction, Reed?
So for my
Do you have to be
blades,
within 5 feet?
it and the target is within 5 feet.
Okay.
So, and it's a D10 plus my proficiency plus my strength.
That's to reduce the
So it's
damage,
D10
correct?
Plus 5. Yep.
Okay.
So D10 plus 5.
So roll a d10. You can when you make those rolls too, you can add the +5 with the modifier.
Oh well, so
You can just hit the plus and it'll add the modifier. So that's 12. So that will reduce that to 0. So you are not taking any damage on that term, as Reed swings his blades and catches the claws of the creature, deflecting the shot away from you. It does, however, have 2 attacks, and its second attack also hits you with a 19, dealing 8 points of slashing damage to you. And that is its turn. Next up is this one. Sorry, you're after this one. It moves in directly into you, Reed. Seeing you come to the aid of your friend, and it is going to... It's going to make a claw attack firstly, which will miss. Missing with its claw attack, it reaches forward and tries to bite you, which hits you. You take 6 points of piercing damage, You'll also need to make a Constitution save, please. Which is a failure. You will take a further 9 points of necrotic damage. You can remove that from your sheet, yes? Or do you want me to do it? So 9 points of necrotic damage, and you will also now be afflicted with something which you'll need to make a con save at the end of your next turn as well to see what the outcome of that is.
Okay.
So that is its turn. Sire, you're up. Ripple on board.
Attempt to cast right about this to get these two. I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire
Cool.
on these guys. So they need to make a dex save. Oh, that was my dex save. Sorry, I hit the button. They need
It's
to
all
make
good.
a dex save.
It's all good. They will make their dex saves. Looks like one succeeds, one fails.
Right. So they will be covered in a violet light, and if the ones that fail will have.
Where is my defense?
Anyone has advantage. Anyone has advantage on the one that failed, whichever one failed.
Oh, my defense ain't working. What the hell? Interesting.
He did have a couple of updates this week.
Yeah, that's all good. So what I'll do is we'll mark this one as being affected. What am I going to put on him just so I know? Make him... No, not ethereal.
I take the template off if you're gonna.
Yeah. I can remove that. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there for now. So the one that's fully in the template's the one that's affected. So you have advantage on that one, whoever attacks it. Is that your turn, Sarah?
I'm gonna bonus action give Reed Bardic Inspiration. I get 3 per rest, so.
Yep. No problem.
Using it, I get a d6 for the next 10 minutes.
No
Is that for
problem.
saves?
It says saves, attacks, and
Yeah.
I think that's that.
Yeah, saves, attacks, and ability checks, I believe.
Yeah. Cool.
That's your turn. Ripple, you're up. With Reed on board.
I am going to target this one and bonus action here.
Yep.
Oh, I just gotta find it. Find my spell. Okay, so I'm gonna attack that one with that.
Yeah, they don't take the
And-
damage right off, but they
No.
you do give them disadvantage on something, I believe, as well. On a skill of
I'm
your
going-
choice.
To give them disadvantage on a dex check.
Dex saves? Or dexterity?
Dex
So-
save.
Yes,
Dexterity.
dexterity, yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm also going to then Witch Bolt. That one. I'm gonna
You
cast that
cannot. Is
spell.
it a cantrip?
As an action. Oh no, the bonus action I've used already, eh?
Yes, but as
Crap
witch bolt you cannot
No,
use.
it's an action.
Because it is a leveled spell and it is an action. Because you've already
Okay.
used a leveled spell as a bonus action. So you can only use
Oh.
a cantrip as an action.
Okay, I will chill touch then.
So just make sure you
Right.
give your spell slot back.
Yeah, I did. And I also add an extra +2 fire damage because Jeannie's Wrath.
So is chill touch a action cantrip?
Cantrip.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it does hit, does 5 points of damage.
+2 points of fire damage. Jeannie's Wrath.
In that case it will be a little bit more.
And I get that on every attack roll that hits.
It's alright.
I read my character sheet today.
Yeah, so it does have disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn as well, that particular creature. So, is that you, Ripple? Yeah, just be aware, if you're rolling a leveled spell as an action or a bonus action, your consequential spell on the opposite has to be a bonus action and can only be a cantrip. So you can only cast a cantrip and a leveled spell, not two leveled spells. So that's you. Is that you, Ripple? Thank you.
Is that the same even though it says it's a action? Casting time is action? Because my cantrip, one of them says it's an action.
Yeah, so you can cast a cantrip and a leveled spell in the same turn. So if you cast a cantrip as an action, you can then cast a leveled spell if you have one as a bonus action. You can't cast two action spells in a turn, or you can't cast two leveled spells. Yeah, so if you have a level 1 bonus action spell, you can't then cast a level 1 or higher action spell. It has to be a cantrip. So this one's going to move into behind Reed and attack Jurek. 2 claw attacks. First one will hit with a 16, dealing 9 points of slashing damage. The second one will hit with a 22, also dealing 8 points of slashing damage. Those attacks, as this creature just literally almost jumps on your back, Jurek, and just rakes the crap out of your back with its claws. Double attacks, opening up deep, deep wounds. That is its turn. This one moves into you, Arcos, targeting you. Also 2 attacks with its claws. First one hits with a 17, dealing 6 points of damage. Second attack hits with a 16, dealing 10 points of slashing damage. Also opening up some nasty wounds across your upper body as well. Reed, you're up with Orvan on board. You're muted, sir.
First thing I'm gonna do is use Giant's Might to get bigger.
No problem. My things ain't working at the moment, but I can make you bigger.
That's fine. But there's... So use that. And then I'm going to make an attack on the one that just bit me.
Which does hit, dealing 10 points of damage.
Since it hit, I can use my Giant's Might on it to give another d6.
And is that just slashing damage?
Yeah, it's just extra damage.
Extra damage, okay. Easily enough done. Done.
And then I'm also going to invoke my Fire Rune.
No worries.
So that's 2d6 fire damage. So 11 fire damage. And it has to make a strength save or be restrained.
Indeed. So... saves and is not restrained, but does take the damage. Just still takes damage regardless, yes?
Yes.
Which it will take...
Yeah, the target takes an extra 2d6 fire damage, and it must succeed on a strength save.
You've opened up a nasty wound with your scimitar, but you see that like it doesn't seem to care too much about the physical damage. However, as the fire rune erupts, pumping in that extra damage and igniting the creature, it screeches in pain, and you can see the flesh melting off the bone, what little flesh is left on this creature anyway, and it smells pretty bad. Is that your turn?
And then you said something about a con save.
Yes, you do need to make a con save, yes. As you were bitten by this creature. You're good. You you feel something, like you feel like you're going to be sick, like you feel a little nauseous, but you manage to fight it off at this point. That is your turn. Next up is this one, is going to move into you, Sayra. Does it have any disadvantage on attacks against you, or just advantage on attacks against it with Fairy Fire? I'm pretty sure it's just an advantage on attacks against it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's just advantage on attacks, but I can put it in the...
That's all good. No, we got it.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to try and put it in the chat.
No, you good.
Disregard that.
We'll disregard that one. You know, yeah, it's just a disadvantage. Attacks against it have advantage. But it's going to attack you anyway.
Yep.
Which it will miss. Looking at that, its second attack will hit, dealing 9 points of slashing damage to you. That is its turn. We'll get rid of that template now. We don't need that. And it is now Orvan's turn with Sharik on board.
Ah. Okay, so they're all taking 2 attacks.
Yeah.
I want to bane the 3 that are close to me.
Sure.
Can I target each of those?
If you hold shift, and you should be able to hold shift and T when you select them, and it should target each one.
Oh, not you. There we go. Bam, bam, bam.
I'll move this one out the way so you can target it. Oh, you got it. Cool.
Yeah, I got it.
So they are baned. So I will apply that to them. So Bane, up to 3 coaches, your choice. See within range, each make a charisma saving throw, which we will do. The charisma is not great. 1 got a natural 20, 2 failed. So 1 out of the 3 has succeeded, 2 have failed. So whenever the target fails at roll and makes an attack roll saving row before the spell ends, it must subtract D4. Okay, so that looks like it's doing that automatically. So that's cool.
Oh, awesome. That's good. And then I will bonus action healing word to Reed.
Okay, you should be able to target him.
Taken 2.
You've got, I mean, looking around, Zarik is really hurt. Reed is hurt.
Can't do that.
Arcos is hurt, but I don't think you can because you've cast a first level spell. Needs to be a cantrip. Yeah, but it needs to be a cantrip.
Same
Yeah.
thing as
Sorry.
You were right with the bonus action. It needs to be a cantrip because you've already cast a leveled spell.
Yes, all good. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, did my job. Someone else's turn.
So that's your turn? That is you. Next up, Zarik, it is your turn.
Bonus action, I'm casting Kinetic Jaunt on myself.
Yep.
And then I am going to move without provoking opportunity.
Indeed.
And I'm going to move there. And I'm going to turn around and... because that was a bonus action, the Kinetic Jaunt.
Yep.
I'm going to make a whip attack at the one standing in front of Sayura.
So that'll be an advantage because of Fairy Fire. So Alt click would be advantage, or you can just use the arrows on your roll. That definitely hits with a 23, dealing 3 points of the whip damage.
And that is it for my turn.
That is it for you. Next up, back to the top with Arcos. It's now your turn, sir.
Okay. I will try and hit this thing again. This lady.
This lady. Hits for the 21. You slash forward with your silvered sword, and the fact that it is silvered, you open up a very nasty wound on this creature.
And then as I slice that across, and this is probably not going to do me any good, but it's the first time I can use it. I'm going to use Wail from the Graves, which I
Okay.
can then shall click in the ping.
Whales from the graves. As a nudge, as you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can channel the power of death to harm someone else as well. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn,
Oh no, it's sneak attack.
it
Sorry,
has to
my
be
bad.
sneak attack. But
I
you have an
forgot.
ally within
No, I
five.
can't-
You have an ally within 5 feet, so you can use sneak attack. Your whole group is within 5 feet,
Alright,
so you can use your sneak attack, and you should be able to use the feature as well.
alright, well I'll do this first.
So
then.
do your sneak attack damage, which is definitely there. And so there, Whales from the Grave. So you sneak damage, you deal sneak attack damage. You can target a second creature that you can see within 30 feet of the first creature. Roll half the number of the sneak attack dice for your level. So you get 1d6 damage against another target within 30 feet.
Why does it want a template? It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just
Stupid Foundry.
put the template down, and we'll just move it. Because it's laying what you can target within that 30 feet. So
Okay, and I'll
pick a
just
target
roll
within 30 feet and roll a d6.
I'll roll a d6.
So 6 damage. Nice. So which target are you wanting to add the damage to?
The one that's in front of Sayer.
Okay, so that one there will take an extra 6 damage. How would you describe that damage? Would it be a spectral dagger perhaps coming from your sneak attack, or how would you describe what that would look like? Is it psychic damage? Is it physical damage? Just to get a flavor for it.
Sort of spectral. So it starts off as the ship that Arcos was the captain on. It comes in, and then just all these spectral pirates come out and like envelop
That is cool.
the creature.
That is very cool.
All the people who are haunting Arcos's mind. will
That
come
is
out at once.
awesome. So a pirate shipload of spectral pirates swarm the creature, enveloping it in spectral goo. You gooed it. Arcos, you gooed
I
it.
gooed it, and then I'll use my
slimed
bonus
me.
action to attack the one that's in front of me again.
Okay.
With a
Bonus action
regular
with a
short sword?
regular sword.
Regular.
Natty one. Natty one.
Natty one.
Natty one.
Overconfidence has been his undoing.
So, that is your turn. That is their turn next. This one targets Ripple and is going to target Ripple with a bite attack. 15 definitely hits. It's Ripple with a 7. Ripple, you would need to make a Constitution save, please.
Is that one of the baned ones, or is that one the one that's passed?
You're right. That is a baned one. Let's have a look at that. It's minus the 4 already. It was a higher roll. It was a plus 6, so it would have been 21 normally. So it's automatically minusing the bane, which is cool. What was your con save? Very low. So unfortunately, you will take another 2d6 necrotic damage, so 8 necrotic damage, which I will remove from you. And you are feeling a little sickly, Ripple. As its turn, this one's turn, it's going to attack you again, Reed. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to look at you. It's not going to say anything, but you're going to hear in your mind, "We are not your enemy. They are." Make a wisdom save for me. At disadvantage. That would be a success, I think. No.
That was
But that was Ripple's. That was Ripple needs to make a con save too. Another one in the
forgot.
chat. Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
concentration because you're concentrating. Oh no, you don't
When I
because
got
you. Yeah, you don't Ripple because you don't have Witch Bolt up, so don't worry about it. That was for Witch Bolt before, which you couldn't cast, so it didn't matter. So you're good, sorry, with your concentration. So your failure. So Reed, on your next turn,
even if I add the
add your
I
d6.
guess
What
it's
what was your save? No,
Two.
you
my save. I did
your
that
save.
one. I was
You
like,
got a
it
nat
wouldn't
one.
matter.
It's not going to matter. And you do have a luck roll. You
Yeah,
can
I'll
use
use
it. So use luck roll. So just roll that again. Again, you can just hover over it and hit the up arrow on the roll. Or roll it again. That was a success. So you do succeed on this time. You feel the urge to attack a friend, but you manage to shake it off. So that is its turn. Syra.
I don't want to be this guy,
Yes.
but wasn't it at disadvantage?
Yes, it was actually. So you need to roll that again. Reed, sorry.
It's all good.
Still a success, just. So you're good. Syra, your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna just hit this one that's fairy fired with my rapier.
At advantage.
Oh.
So yeah, hit the up arrow on your roll. Just hover over your roll on the 15 and hit the up arrow.
Yep,
That's better. Definitely
Oh,
hits. So 23.
yep.
There's 9 points of the rapier damage. Still looking pretty good though.
I don't really have a bonus action to go for, so I'm just gonna stay. That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah.
Ripple, you're up. Read on board.
I am going to target that one.
Just target it. Click it and hit
Yep.
T.
I did.
And do whatever you're gonna do.
I'm gonna witch bolt it. Not with my features, I'm not. I'm a spell. I mean, I could try.
You can try. And you miss with your witch bolt, unfortunately.
Well, bugger. That's fine. I missed.
You missed. It just went slightly wide. Maybe feeling the effects of that bite. It just
Probably
made
still
your
feel a
eyes
bit
just a little
sick.
blur. You feel a little nauseous, and you send your witch bolt wide into the
Yep.
trees.
Probably
That's
lean
your
over and have a
turn.
little vomit if I'm feeling unwell.
Little vom, is that your
Yep.
turn?
That's all I can do right now.
It is now their turn. Right, I do have to make a quick roll before this one's turn. This will be a public rule. Okay. With an 18. As this creature gets ready to make another attack at Reed, you notice the mist around you starts to thicken and start to swirl around the group, almost like you're in the eye of a tornado. It starts to get faster and faster. The creatures now sort of hesitate. They take half a step back and pause their attack, it seems. And from the swirling void of fog and mist and smoke and leaves, a voice emanates. That will do, my minions. I think they get the message. We do not want to kill them just yet. Much more fun to be had. And as the mist starts to swirl again, the creatures start to move backwards out of your range. If you wish to continue to fight, you can take an attack for opportunity, but they are retreating. Up to you what you want to do. They start to move away from you into the mist. What do? I'll give everyone a chance to make a decision on whether they're going to attack or not. Reed. Does Reed attack as it moves away?
Yes.
Are you sure you want to make that decision?
I'm hearing it. Is that your final answer kind of tone in that voice?
Yeah. Such a hard decision.
So yes or no? 6 seconds.
No.
No. Ulvan, do you wish to take an attack as they move away?
Nope. I'm gonna stand defensively.
Arcos.
Arcos shifts back and grabs on to Ripple just to make sure she doesn't go anywhere in this swirly mist.
No worries.
He's not interested in fighting.
Okay. Sayra. Uh-oh. I think we lost Sayra. She is frozen. We'll swing back around. Ripple.
Ripple's feeling too sick to worry about it. She's just gonna stand there and
Indeed. Well, we need to resolve that shortly too. Jarik.
He throws out his whip and intentionally misses, flicking the ground.
Cracks
With
the
a loud
whip
crack.
as the creatures slowly move away and step into the swirling mist and are swept away with it. And eventually they do disappear. That will bring our combat to a close. No need to assign XP because we're not doing that in this campaign. But you are now standing in the forest as the mist eventually does come to a stop and settles back down. Some of you very wounded. One of a better term, licking thy wounds, but just a little wounded and sort of left thinking, what the hell? Who was that? What just happened? Anyone who wishes to make a history check to see if they knew what these creatures were, Orvan, you'll be at advantage, because of your religion. I would say Arcos and Ripple would also be at advantage because you are worldly traveled.
Advantage on history? Sorry?
History, yes.
Did that voice sound familiar to me?
Anyone who has heard the Slavic man before, yes. It is the same voice. So we've got
Selected as a...
Ripple, Jarik. So yeah, all you can do is hold Alt for advantage.
Oh.
So hold Alt down and click the history and it'll roll at advantage. Otherwise just roll it and then hover over. Yeah. Just use the chat, might be easier. Just make the run roll and then hit the up arrow on the chat result. So we've got 17, 21, we got a nat 20 from Jarik.
I would say that there's a possibility I may have come across something before with my digging.
Me, because I didn't roll. No. I kind of don't want to know. It fucking bit me. I think that was my.
No, I've only succeeded on one.
That was my third success.
I thought I got a.
I think she got a 5.
I got a 5. Another con save. Ooh. Yes.
You want to lock?
No. Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Evil says, it says you're muted on the stream, Evil. I don't know, that's what Tip said.
Hello. Oh, I was too. Sorry.
How long for?
Sorry, chat. So, yes, you failed.
Really?
You still failed, unfortunately.
Fuck.
Only just. You failed by 1. So, sorry, chat. Was making some con saves for the bites that the party took. Reed is good. He succeeded on his. Unfortunately, Ripple has failed 2 saves. So, Ripple, you don't feel very well. You take to a knee and you vomit. But you vomit up blood.
That's never good.
Holy crap, you're yelling in the microphone. Fuck, you're loud.
Sorry, it's because I'm sitting forward.
Jesus Christ. It's about made me jump out of my chair. So, yeah, you're not feeling very well at all. You vomit up blood. You don't take any damage from this. But you are visibly not well. And the rest you can see this. Like, she literally drops to a knee and just vomits blood.
I'm gonna run.
That-
Yes.
Ovan, do something. Anything.
And because of pretty much all of you that rolled your history checks are aware of what these creatures are. They are very clearly undead and they're very clearly vampires.
They're looking for a small stick.
So I'd say,
Wow.
even though, sorry, this is where things going to get a little different. Even though some of you know what these creatures are, I would say the only person in your group that actually knows anything real about vampires and what they are and how they work and everything would be Orban.
Oh, if I can
With
tell
her
you
studies.
nothing.
I mean, you've definitely,
no.
you're a natural 20. You've definitely heard of them. You'd probably know the more fabled stories of and historical stories of vampires more so
I've
than
read books,
actual
they're not-
stories.
I've read books, they're not necessarily true yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know what they are and what they're capable of. That they're strong, they're fast. That a bite could potentially pass on the virus, all that sort of stuff. But I'd say you're more of the movie vampire knowledge, whereas Orvan's the actual knowledge.
I mean, I got bit. Why am I not puking up blood?
In knowing that, though, I do. Would I know whether or not lesser restoration would do anything?
You would definitely understand that lesser restoration would not help in this instance. You would need a much more powerful spell to deal with that. However, a lesser restoration would suppress anything that was going on with her for a period of time at least. It wouldn't stop it, it wouldn't cure it, but it would definitely suppress it for a time.
Okay.
Would Ripple have anything in her herbalism kit that would help?
Hell no.
Damn it.
No.
Vampire's Bane.
No. You're yelling in the microphone again. Holy crap. No.
I'm gonna,
You would have some remedies that would probably make you feel a little better, get rid of the nausea and stuff, but that'd be about it.
Ripple, I've got something that can help. We will need to find somebody that has a better thing, a better spell, a better healing than what I have currently, but I can help you right now. At least it won't make you feel sick. I'm gonna pump that lesser restoration into you.
Okay, so just use up the spell slot. You cast lesser restoration on Ripple, and Ripple, you do feel a lot better. Like the nausea goes away, the pounding headache goes away, the pain in your chest starts to subside. But you know you don't feel right. You know that within yourself that there's just
I'm having had
Yeah.
some deja vu here.
something's just not quite right.
You gotta go into the fucking bone mill. Jesus.
Reed, however, like you're feeling okay. Like you're feeling not bad at this point.
Do we know? Like they definitely were the two that like we
They-
would know that.
You can
They were
see
the
the
ones-
wounds.
I openly said that.
Yeah, he's openly said
Okay.
that he was bit as well and that he feels fine.
I was bit. Why am I not throwing up?
I don't know.
I've also
but I'll-
pointed out.
Hmm?
I've also pointed out the bites. I think at this point to say, hey, look, see the 2 bites makes them a vampire.
Mm.
Yeah, Drake's going down. Drake's going down that
Okay.
fucking movie road. They're gonna fucking turn, man. We're gonna kill him right here and now.
The
It'll be
gypsies,
fine.
they're magic. The gypsies are magic. They brought my
Bite
hat
me,
here, and my hat
bitch.
wasn't here, and they're magic, and they can do things, and we need to go see them now. They'll and you fucking stay away. And he looks at Jarek.
See, I've seen what happens, right? I've seen burials where they have had the sticks like stuck up through their mouth, so they can't literally bite anything, even when they're bones.
I look at Jarek, and I am holding a happy little witch bolt in my hand.
It's gonna turn you all the way down because you're yelling into your microphone again.
Oh, and I'm going to say to him, "You come near me with anything other than help, and you will wear this." And
As
there'll be a little
as
purple ball.
the lightning is
Little
crackling
purple
through her
crackly
head,
ball
through her
in
hand.
her
Yeah.
hands.
Is this because I've twice now had to use my lightning spell on you to pull you away from something?
No. You're threatening to stick me with things. It's not going to happen. This is me being defensive.
I'm not saying I do it now, but when?
When what? I like the
You
idea
guys
of
are
going to the
too
gypsy
worried.
camp.
When you are
We'll be
not you
fine.
anymore.
Ah, that's fine, because that means I'm not me. But I
That's
think
only if we
we-
do not get help.
we need to go to the gypsy camp.
When
I
you
don't
turn
see
into
what the
something
big
like
deal is.
Is right.
when you turn into
Stuff
something like
bites
this,
us all
and
the
I
time.
and I cast Alter Self on myself, and I make myself look like one of the vampires.
Okay.
Anyone doing anything else?
I
The
mean,
fuck
there's
is that?
You
I
see,
know.
this is how it looks.
What the fuck?
can't talk with the fangs.
I think I might have overdone it.
Mr.
Look.
Dufresne, is that you?
Look, the camp has a lot of potions, and if they can't help, maybe the town of Valaki has a priest, or there is a mad mage. So
Yeah. What?
we're several choices.
Whatever. We will. Yeah. Let's. We can go. We don't need to
Closest,
talk about what ifs.
closest Valaki, then the camp, I think.
She'll be fine. Let us who needs healing so I can make sure you're okay for the walk.
So looking around,
Reed? And Jerry?
Reed, Jarek, Ripple, and Arcos have all taken some pretty severe damage.
I'm clearly bloody, but
I'm
that's
o-
only because
I'm
I've changed
okay.
into this shape and I made
I
it
can
look like that.
I'm not terribly hurt, but I'm
I think Arcos might be the worst off. He's definitely the
Yeah.
worst for wear.
Alright. I'll just Don't worry about her. We will find something, and then I'll just pump him with a second level healing word. How do I?
Okay,
do a
so-
second level?
Just use the spell
I'm
slot. Just
gonna-
click on the spell slot. Don't cast the spell. I'll just the second level healing
I can
word.
select it there. Ah,
Yeah, you should
I
be able to
see.
select it. And then we can roll it from there, and Arcos can add it. There you go. 6 points of healing for you, Arcos.
I'm going to use
Ah.
my second wind. to
Okay, you
gain
do
some
that.
health.
So you get 9 points of healing with second wind.
So I'm pretty good.
So, wounded but alive, you make your way back to the road. And knowing you've got a little bit of a journey, maybe 3 or 4 hours at least before you can reach Vallaki itself. Looking around, you realize that, man, you're gonna be cutting this close. You need to get to Vallaki at the very least, rest so you can maybe try and ask around so you can find someone to help Ripple. But you're going to be cutting it very, very fine. It is going to be dark by the time you get to Vallaki at the very least, if not just before. So you need to pick up the pace. You don't want to be stuck out of a city at night. You've already had one night out, which seemed to be okay, but you're not familiar with this area. You've never been here before. So this is a whole different story. What is the plan? Do you move quickly? Are you going to backtrack? What is the plan?
Arcos moves quickly, but with Ripple, like he doesn't
Leave her
doesn't
side?
let go of her.
Okay,
Yeah.
seems fair. Heading towards Vallaki?
Do you think it's worth sending a couple of us off into the woods to try and find the gypsies?
No,
Back in the woods?
No.
no. Let's get to Vallaki.
But if we get to Vallaki, then they could probably point us where the people they hate are, you know. They did say that people don't like them there, so.
And although I'm
Well-
trailing behind, I switch my skirts to brown and
Yeah.
a reminder I don't like people there.
Wearing the brown
We-
skirt.
Wearing the brown pants.
The brown pants.
Do we think this kind of information would be really given though in a town? My goodness,
Oh,
that is
okay,
tough.
so maybe we don't bring up the gypsies right away.
Yeah,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Van, you know what she needs. You just don't have it on you, right? Like you know what to do. You just don't. You
I
can't.
do. I currently cannot, but also
you do
vampires
know.
are not
Yeah.
well looked on.
Yeah,
but we
you
don't
would
have to-
understand that mentioning the word vampire bite would probably not go down too well with a superstitious town, for one. For two, you would know that there is alchemical ways of curing this. It's just that it would take a bit to find those ingredients, and whether you can find them here, you're not sure. But you do know that there are clerics that have that kind of training, and if Vallaki has a church, there's a good possibility you could cure her there.
Mhm.
Just say she like ate a bad pie or something, like a really cursed.
At the moment, she doesn't look too bad.
Fine.
Like, she's definitely looking a lot better after the lesser restoration. You're not sure how long that will hold her. You know it's only temporary. Whether it be a few hours, a day, a couple of days, you're not entirely sure. You've not
They're all worried
actually
about her.
seen this
too.
happen. And Reed, again, you look and feel fine. Everyone, when you feel fine, you look fine.
Just jealous that they're all worried about her.
In fact, your
I
bite doesn't
can
even
be
look
full
as
of,
bad. Your bite doesn't even look
very
half as
confused.
bad as Ripple's either. The Ripple's bite looks like it's quite seriously infected already.
Did you read? No?
No, just
Oh, okay.
got bit.
Fucking needy. Van doesn't have anything to fix stupid, mate. Fucking hell.
I will, if he is actually insistent, I will go over and I will pretend
Wants to be
that I am
fucking
given a
touched.
restoration.
Fucking
Hey,
pervert.
he doesn't know any different. You can pretend.
That's right. No, oh, you know what? You're right. I should also attend to you too.
So it's
I'll
the whole you
just-
walk up and go, rub your hands together and hold on, mumble a prayer under your breath.
I think I'll just give him a bit of a Chinese burn too. Like, oh yeah, that's that's the tingle. It's just how it feels when when it's working. Excellent.
Right. So
Nice
Reed,
and warm.
Reed feels better.
I feel cozy.
So you pick up the pace, not running because you know if you're going to run, it'll cost you to run, but you move with purpose, heading towards Valaki.
As we're moving along, I stay somewhere towards the back and I take out my dagger. I found a nice stick and I'm slowly just whittling a point in the end.
Noted. Make a note you have a pointy stick. And I think that is probably a good place to call tonight's session. We're pretty much bang on 9:30. That is awesome, guys. Thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. Thank you, players, for another entertaining session. You have completed the task of the Old Bonegrinder. This will not result in a level up, however. You haven't quite got there yet, but you're getting close to your next level as well.
Oh, I can't wait to see what Ripple gets as new powers. Yippee!
Well, this is the thing. If Ripple doesn't get cured anytime soon, then will there'll be definitely a change. There'll be some positives and some negatives to her affliction. We are also dealing with this in my home game.
In the dark.
Yeah, one of our characters in our home game has contracted vampirism as well, and I will be patterning my vampirism very much similar on Baz's. He's running it in stages. She is stage 2 at the moment, and we're on the road to finding a cure for her as well. And I think there's 4 stages total. So I will be running something similar. So at the moment, Ripple, you are in stage 1, which is currently being suppressed by lesser restoration. So nothing is actually at the moment.
Nice and juicy right now.
Let's just say stage 1 will net you at night. You'll get a +1 to your strength, a +1 to your dexterity, and an extra 10 feet of dark vision. And you'll get an extra 10 feet of movement at night. During the day, you'll be -1 to your strength, -1 to your dexterity. You'll lose 10 feet of natural vision during the day. So you won't be able to see as well during the day, but you'll also be at disadvantage on perception and investigations during the day as well. So I will write it out for you, so you don't need to make notes. We'll discuss this depending on what happens.
I wasn't keeping up very well there. I got as far as 10 feet move.
Like I said, I will write it out for you so that you have it on hand if it goes that far, because at the moment it is all being suppressed anyway with lesser restoration. Depending on what happens in Valaki and how you approach that with the locals will determine what happens next, and obviously whether you can either pay for or convince someone to help you.
Okay.
But in saying that, chat and players, that is it for us for another session. That was session 11, the Old Bonegrinder. Session 12 will be in 2 weeks' time, and will probably be labelled something around what's happening to Ripple at the moment. So it'll be probably bloodsuckers or something stupid.
I can't die to a vampire bite.
Blood-sucking murder hobo?
Again. Yeah, no.
No, you didn't die to a vampire bite. Your previous character's not dead, so you're fine.
She's
What's
forever undead.
She is unalive.
Yeah, she's just alive.
What number is the next session? Is it 13?
No, 12. But anyhow, thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you, chat, for that. Obviously, this will be up on the YouTubes as well. So anyone who wants to watch it later or who hasn't had a chance to watch it this time around, and we will be back again in a couple of weeks to do it all over again. And then I think it's in when do you guys go away? In May?
In April.
April.
Yeah, so we will probably miss a session in April with Styx and Blackwell being
Maybe
away, possibly 2. We'll see how we go. We'll reschedule around it. What I might do in that time that they're away, we might look at running at least a one-shot in this world. So it'll still be in this time slot in this world with the existing group, but you may be whisked away into another dimension for a session to deal with something without your companions while they're away. I'll come up with something. Otherwise, we'll just take a break. But either way, that is what it is. We'll say goodnight. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.